Welcome to Brand Lover, honest, real, and lively conversations for flourishing entrepreneurs and budding business owners on a mission to cultivate a heartfelt brand that connects with their purpose-driven mission. My hope is that you walk away feeling inspired and refreshed with a weekly takeaway in your back pocket that you can apply to your life or business. Hey, lovely. Welcome to this week's episode of the Brand Lover podcast. So excited to have you with me again. Thank you so much for showing up and sharing this time with me. I do love imparting my thoughts and wisdom on the topic of branding. So first up, I just want to say thank you. And just a little reminder, if you haven't heard, I am going to be hosting a free 5-day challenge called the Brand Revival Challenge. And it's happening on starting Tuesday, the 17th of May through to Saturday, the 21st of May. I'm going to be delivering an educational video, a prompt, and a script for you to use to start cultivating brand loyalty. And the key here is that you have to start. And this is what the whole topic of this podcast is about, the secret to brand loyalty. So before we get into that quite hefty topic, go and make sure that you register for the free challenge. It's going to be delivered straight to your inbox. There is an opportunity to come into the Brand Lover community and have extra support there. I'll be hosting a couple of Q&As and sharing ways that you can keep accountable to this, because I know that instigating brand loyalty, creating connection and relationships can be a little bit intimidating if it's not something that you have encountered before or had experience with, particularly in the digital marketing space. So on that note, let's dive in to the secret to brand loyalty. So the secret to cultivating loyalty in your brand in this very digital age, particularly after the last tumultuous few years where we have seen a massive shift online. Online was big before 2020, but now in 2022, it's insane big. If you are not marketing online, you will be quickly passed by and forgotten, unfortunately. So the goal of creating brand loyalty is to facilitate that feeling of complete trust. So the secret is simply to fast track your customers to that point of complete, utter, uninhibited trust. So this looks different for every brand because it depends on your customers. It depends on what you're offering. It depends on, their unique circumstances, their personal wants, what they actually need versus what they think they need. And also the perceived risk in investing in your service or your product. So if you have a small product or a lower priced product or service, then what I mean by perceived risk is that the aversion to spending that money and making that investment is a lot smaller. So the perceived risk is smaller. Whereas if you are in a service-based business or in a coaching business, or you're offering a course that is, potentially in the thousands of dollars, there's a higher perceived risk to that person because in their heart, they will be coming across all of these questions about whether or not they're going to receive the promise that you are making to them and receive the transformation by investing their money. Whereas, for example, going back to the lower priced product, say you are buying a handmade soap at a market, that's not a huge perceived risk. So that's what I mean by perceived risk. So having said that, in any situation, for any brand, whether it's a small brand or a big brand, whether you consider yourself a small business or a growing business, or perhaps you are starting to think about scaling and elevating your brand, it doesn't matter. Even if you've only just started your business or you have a side hustle, it's incredibly important to have brand loyalty as your end goal. And I'm going to tell you the best way to do this, to fast track your customers to brand loyalty. First of all, I would really like to define brand loyalty in a way that is easy to understand. So brand loyalty is a collective of customers who have purchased from you before, who loved the experience or the product, who become advocates for your brand. So when we talk about word of mouth in marketing, usually it's your most brand loyal advocates who are spruiking your product or services for you. It's basically free. And that's why it's so valuable and so important to focus on fast tracking your customers to that point of complete trust and brand loyalty so that they can spread the word and grow your brand for you. They will always come back to you. They will, whatever product you have, or if you release something new, they'll be the ones lining up to purchase it excitedly. They won't be worrying about the perceived risk because they know in their heart that you've got the goods and they're going to tell everybody about it. So the recipe to fast track your brand to loyalty is through the following steps. Number one is connection. And particularly in the digital age, it may seem a little bit difficult to instigate connection. It may feel a little bit awkward, particularly when the most popular way to do this is through social media. A lot of the time these days, the first contact with your brand will be through social media or perhaps a Google search and having a look at your website. So how do you instigate relationships and make these connections? We'll keep going. Number two is authenticity. So basically all that means is saying what you mean and meaning what you say, and coming across in a way that is truly authentic so that you don't have to pretend. And honestly, people can sniff it out. People can sniff out acting, and it's an intuition thing. So it's really important that you stay in integrity and are truly authentic online. Number three is vulnerability. And I'm not necessarily saying that you have to go and air your dirty laundry to everybody. It's really sharing your real humanness, sharing your relatability, like your flaws, your mishaps, your story. People want to know because it makes you who you are and it makes you more lovable. Number four is genuine relationships. So once you've made the connection and instigated the relationship, and you've maybe been dancing around with this customer for a while and proven yourself to be authentic, this is when genuine relationships can take root. And this is done with empathy and thoughtfulness and showing that you care about your customer in simple, small ways that actually have such an effect that it makes you stand out in comparison to your competitors. So the last one is trust. They know when they invest with you that their life will be better for it because they've got to know you and you've proven that you care and you've proven that you're not some robot or some big corporation just there to take their money, that you genuinely would like to be a small part of their life and make it better. So I hope that this has helped you understand why brand loyalty is so important, and that the secret to brand loyalty is actually quite simple when executed well. And what we're going to be doing in the Brand Revival 5-day challenge is actually using these steps, these facets, these pillars of creating and fostering brand loyalty. And we're actually going to put them into action. So we're going to be using either social media like Facebook or Instagram, or even if you have an email list, to actually start genuinely creating connection points with your audience. And so if you are the type of person that's been hiding behind your products on social media, or you're not really sure even what to post, you feel like perhaps nobody's interested in what you've got to say, or you feel like a tiny, tiny fish in a really, 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 really big pond. Perhaps you're shy and introverted, as I am. And once upon a time, I never used to show my face on social media either. But it was when I did truly start making connections that my business started to grow and flourish. And it was through this authenticity that I've been able to create a tribe of brand advocates. And potentially one of you are listening right now. I see you and I'm grateful for you. So send me a message if you consider yourself in that category, because it's a beautiful thing. It's a lovely relationship to be able to cultivate. So I hope to see you inside the challenge group, because I'll be hanging out there a lot between the 17th and the 21st of May this month. So make sure that you click on the link down in the show notes to register, so that you will be receiving all of those daily emails and branding wisdom. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this week's episode of Brand Lover, take a screenshot of wherever you're listening and share your biggest takeaway on Instagram or Facebook, and don't forget to tag me. I'd love to give you a shout out and thank you personally. Also, feel free to subscribe and leave a review to help the Brand Lover podcast reach more heart-aligned entrepreneurs just like yourself. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.